Hi, this is Sally. Thought I'd take you through my gardens again and show you how everything's growing. This is an apple tree that I got. It came in kind of beat up. My son got it for me for Mother's Day. But it's got a little bit of green on it right up here. I think he might make it. He's a Honeycrisp. And they said that you need another tree to pollinate them. So I got a Fuji tree, Fuji apple. That one looks a little bit better. It's a little bigger. It's got a tiny, tiny little apple. Oh, it's out of focus. Right there. Just a little. Is that where it is? No. Right there. Tiny little apple. Anyway, that's my blueberry bush right there. That's just a regular blueberry. And this one I just got is a pink lemonade blueberry. And those blueberries stay pink. And these are all, we had these caged up, that's why those posts are there. These are all my currant bushes. I'll come look in my garden here. I've got some nasturtiums hanging here so that I get good pollination. And down in here I've got squash. There's yellow squash on one side, and there's zucchini, the green ones, on the other side. Got a couple marigolds. And in between there, right along that board, there's some beets coming up. I planted them with the zucchini. Down there is come around this way. Oh, here's my elderberries. My elderberry bushes are huge. This is a little bee house that my husband got. We're still waiting for bees. We don't have any yet. There's a couple ants there. Okay, this is my tomatoes. These are big tomatoes, like the big ones you slice and put on sandwiches. And this is the trellis. We'll be hanging strings down from that and for the tomatoes to climb up. This is the cucumbers. They're starting to come up. I've got the eating cucumbers on the end, and in the middle there's pickling cucumbers, because I do a lot of pickles. This is my strawberry patch, which we have netting over it because the chipmunks were getting all the strawberries. Here's some catnip growing here. So I dry that every year and I make catnip toys with it. This is the raspberries. They're starting to come up pretty good. And this is our blackberries. And they have some blossoms on the top. So we might get a couple blackberries this year. They're the thornless ones, so they don't get me all messed up. Here's our compost bins. This is our mountain laurel. It just grows wild here, all across the back of the yard. Isn't that beautiful? My husband usually pulls the camper out so that we can see it better. But he just had knee surgery, so he did not. Goes all the way around the back. Here's a close-up of it. The flowers are they're gorgeous. They look so lacy, pretty. I love the look of those flowers. Okay. That's where we feed our deer. They always come in the backyard. This is our magnolia tree we planted a few years back. It's got some flowers on it. Here's a couple birdhouses that I think they both have babies in them, I think. Well, they might not be hatched out yet, but there's somebody's been going in and out of there. Magnolia tree. It's got some flowers coming out on it. There's a bigger flower on the other side here. There's our red maple. Yeah, there's some big flowers over here. There's a big one right up in there. Okay, we'll go over here to the other garden. We have to fence everything because it would get all eaten if we didn't. So my lettuce is coming along great. We'll be having salads probably in a couple weeks. This is my peppers. They're doing pretty good too. And I planted radishes right in there. And down at the other end, there was a little bit of room there, so I put some radishes in. This is our beans, green beans. They're doing great. This is another tomato bed. This is the plum tomatoes, because I make a lot of sauce too. So that'll make all of our tomato sauce for the winter. And this is the little cherry tomatoes in this bed. We eat a lot of tomatoes. And this one has one of those trellises too to tie them up so that they can grow up vertical. And I have another container of beans here. Hopefully we have lots of beans this year. Well, it's the first year I've done beans, so I'm hoping they do good. We'll have to build some trellises there for them. Okay. Oops. Sorry about that. Almost dropped my phone. Okay, we'll go back here. My hostas. They're huge. You have to spray them all the time because the deer like to eat them. This is our little garden in the back. There's a bunch of grasses back there. This tree lights up. There's a lot of irises here. There's some lilies coming up. There's those little purple things. I don't know what they're called, but they're very invasive. We end up pulling them out every year. It's like a jungle back here. There's an olive tree back there. And we have a lot of this ground cover, the sedum that gets the little yellow flowers on it. There's some more lilies coming up. I think some of them are red. They're really pretty. There's some little irises. Look how pretty that is. There's our pond. It's very green because of all the pollen. And the fish are hiding right now. I don't know if something scared them or what, but there's some yellow irises back there. There's some like rust-colored irises. So pretty. There's a white one. White one that needs to be staked up. That's our Andromeda. That's done with the little flowers. And this is the Weigela. We have a bunch of ferns back here. There's more mountain laurel back in there. That's a rhododendron, which is done blooming. All the ferns here. We have lots of birdhouses and water fountains. The birds love us back here. Here's our nice big back porch. And we sit out there and watch all of the birds and watch the deer come in, and got our hummingbird feeders up there. There's a weeping willow. It's just a bush. It's not the tree. These are the plants that are supposed to keep the moles away. They're huge. They're as big as I am. This is one of those little flowers. I think they're called fritillaria. These are burning bushes here, which we're going to have to take out, I think, eventually, because they're taking over our little walkway. There's some lilies coming up. There's the end of some irises. There's a couple yellow irises there. These are some daylilies coming up. There's the rose bush. Rose bush is huge this year. We had to tie it up because it was hanging down to the ground. So heavy with all the blossoms open. This is nasturtiums that I planted in that little planter. That's my shrimp plant over there, which isn't looking the best right now. I fertilized them, so hopefully that helps. Here's more of the sedum, the ground cover that we have. This garden here is it's just a lot of stuff that's finishing blooming, and then I'll put flowers in for the summer. Okay, here's more of those little fritillaria, and the irises are on their way out. There's some more nasturtiums in my little chair. And these snapdragons are going to go out in my one flower bed. There's a cyclamen. That was an Easter gift. And here's my hanging basket that I got. So pretty. This is supposed to be cilantro. Something dug it up, and I tried to replant it, but it's not doing great. That's a rosemary. I had that one from last year, so this one's going to go in that pot too. These are little pansies that are coming up from seed. They're tiny yet. Here's some gazanias. Here's some more pansies. And another hanging basket. A couple more gazanias in there. This garden isn't planted yet. I'll be putting the snapdragons in there. Here goes purple irises. Really pretty. This is a viburnum bush. It bloomed already. And here's our dogwood. When I was working, a man that I delivered mail to gave me a cutting from his dogwood tree. And now it's gotten big and it's blooming every year. It's beautiful. This is our pet cemetery. I transplanted that hydrangea from another one I had. It had like suckers coming off of it, so I just brought it over here and stuck it in the ground. It took off. This is all tiger lilies through here. This is irises. That's a forsythia bush that is done blooming now. Here's another one of those pretty irises. Some weeds coming up in here I gotta get rid of. That's a lilac in the back there. There's some bleeding hearts back there. Yeah, there's some weeds out here. There's some daylilies. There's Solomon seal. There's another sedum back there. There's an iris on the ground. He must have fell over. That's a hosta back in there. More bleeding hearts. More lilies. This is our lilac bush. It's all done blooming now. Oh, this is our crepe myrtle tree. He has to be trimmed up a little bit. This here is just a big patch of tiger lilies. This is all, it's just vines that grow up the trees. Some of it's wisteria. Some of it's another type of vine, which I don't know what it is. But we try to pull that one out. We like to leave the wisteria, but get rid of the other ones. This patch here is all tiger lilies. This is our wisteria growing up there on the arbor. I love walking through this little garden. Everything's so pretty. There's a bunch of weeds. I got to get out here weeding. It's hard to keep up with them. There's a maiden fern. Here's more ferns. We plant lots of ferns here because it's pretty shady. And there's all of the Solomon seal. There's some wisteria growing over here. Hostas. We have to spray these hostas all the time because there's an azalea. There's some bleeding hearts back in there. That's a hellebore. This is our catalpa tree. It grows sideways down the driveway. I'm afraid we're going to lose it sometime because it's getting so old. But we've got new shoots coming up from it, so this is a hydrangea. I'm not sure what they're called, but they're really pretty too. The hosta's not looking too good. I don't know what's going on with him. One of our little bird feeders. Look how huge these leaves are on the catalpa tree. They're humongous. And then they get the long seed pods. Here's a little cedar tree that grew on its own there. They reseed and they grow everywhere. Here's our little swingers. They used to be up high, but now the tree is getting lower and lower, so they're almost sitting on the ground now. We put a little stump under there to keep the tree up. That's about the whole house, or the whole gardens. So there's my husband sitting up there on the porch. He just had his knee surgery on Tuesday, and I can't keep him still. He just wants to keep walking all over the place. I have to yell at him to take his cane with him. He's doing very, very good. Oh, I've got some bee balm in here. Yeah, there's some bee balm right there. There's some bleeding hearts. Bleeding hearts are all done. And the wisteria has to be trimmed back. This tree here is, it's a choke cherry. I never knew what it was, but my daughter looked it up and said it was a choke cherry. So that's about it. Thanks for watching. Bye.